Larry Fenton, a successful businessman, a devoted husband, and the epitome of a perfect life. But everything came crashing down on a February night in 2008 when he was found lying in a pool of blood inside his own home. His wife, Rebecca Fenton, was the first to discover the body. She called 911, reporting that the house had been ransacked, making it seem like a botched robbery. But was it really that simple? Larry's death quickly became the focus of public attention as police began to suspect his wife. Rebecca claimed she had been working out in the home's separate garage before walking inside to find her husband. But the evidence painted a completely different picture. The blood around Larry's body was undisturbed, and there were no traces of blood on Rebecca's hands or shoes. Additionally, the house appeared to have been carelessly staged, as if it had been robbed. Valuables like an iPod and jewelry were left untouched. The only item missing was Larry's car, but just 2 days later, it was found abandoned nearby with many of his belongings still inside. Hardly the work of a genuine thief. Adding to the suspicion was Rebecca's demeanor. During interviews, she displayed an unsettling calmness, even smiling and laughing at times, which only deepened the investigators' doubts. The breakthrough came when police searched her car and found damning evidence. A revolver with 5 spent shells, perfectly matching the number of shots that killed Larry. Alongside it were Larry's jewelry and the keys to his gun case. All signs pointed to Rebecca, but without gunshot residue on her hands, the case hit a deadlock. The investigation seemed destined for cold case files until 2012, when an ex-boyfriend of Rebecca came forward with a chilling revelation. He claimed that during an argument, Rebecca had threatened him, saying she would kill him just like she killed Larry. This statement reignited the case, leading to Rebecca's arrest in 2014. At trial, prosecutors revealed that her motive was financial. Larry's death would grant her access to his considerable assets. Despite Rebecca's unwavering claims of innocence, the jury found her guilty of first-degree murder, and she was sentenced to life in prison without parole. From a seemingly devoted wife to one of the most controversial figures in American crime history, Rebecca Fenton's story raises haunting questions. Was she truly a cold-blooded killer, or the victim of an elaborate setup? The story of Larry and Rebecca is more than a murder case. It's a journey filled with shocking twists and turns, where the truth lies buried beneath a thick veil of mystery. Do you dare to uncover the full truth behind this chilling case? In this video, we will dive into a thrilling case full of unexpected twists. Rebecca Fenton, the seemingly innocent wife, is suspected of being the killer after a series of suspicious events. What did she do right after discovering her husband lying motionless? Her inconsistent statements and conflicting evidence will leave you questioning everything. Is Rebecca really a cold-blooded murderer? Or is she the victim of a mysterious crime? Don't miss the intriguing analysis and revelations in this video. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on exciting videos and special offers from us. On the morning of February 3, 2008, a frantic 911 call came from a home in Florida. The voice on the line was Rebecca Fenton, trembling and panicked. "I think my husband's been shot. My house has been burglarized. I just came in from the gym." When police arrived, they found Larry Fenton lying motionless near the front door, with 2 fatal gunshot wounds to his back and neck. The atmosphere was heavy with tension and the unmistakable presence of death. Rebecca initially appeared distraught, crying uncontrollably in front of officers and neighbors. But hours later, as news cameras rolled up, her grief seemed to vanish. She was seen laughing and chatting as if the tragedy had never happened. Was this the behavior of someone in shock? Or was something more sinister at play?
I just want to get some just general information from you.
Do you
and
have
we'll
any
talk about.
answers? Have you found anything else?
Not yet, no. I haven't. I don't have any information. The other officers are out on the scene doing what they have to do. Okay?
The lady said that it was going to take some time.
Yes, it will. It usually, forensics comes out there. They do the processing, and
it really doesn't matter if he's gone.
So, but the more evidence, obviously, we can get, processing the scene, the better it will be, and the quicker it will be to capture who's done this.
Good.
Okay? Okay.
Do we have an idea? Anything? The neighbors? Did anybody?
The other officers are out there talking to the neighbors. They're doing canvassing, but they haven't gotten back to me yet. So there's more going on at the scene.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
It's something.
No.
Something.
Right. Well, once we're done talking, then I can report back to the scene, and then they can probably give me some more updated
But they
information.
took the lady, the
right now.
man that they told me that he's definitely gone, that he can't be brought back to life or nothing.
No.
What do you need to know?
Okay. As far as work goes, are you currently working?
I do a little bit of modeling for Bright House, but I wouldn't consider it work.
Okay.
I do a lot of charity work. I'm going to break my anonymity. I'm in Alcoholics Anonymous. I've been sober 3 years.
Okay.
And I do a lot of work with PAR and rehab, so
Okay.
I don't work, but
Okay. Do you have an agent?
do I have an angel?
No, an agent for your modeling career.
A friend.
Okay. So it's like private. You're not with an agency. Okay.
Rebecca claimed her day had started normally. Larry stayed home, relaxing and preparing for the Super Bowl, while she left early to take a friend to a meeting. Everything seemed routine until she heard a loud noise while exercising in their backyard gym. It didn't sound like a gunshot, she explained. It was like something fell off the roof. But instead of investigating immediately, she continued working out with her music turned up. Upon entering the house, she was met with a horrifying sight: Larry lying in a pool of blood. Oddly, rather than calling 911 right away, Rebecca ran through the house to check the rooms. A curious decision, considering the possibility that the killer could still be inside.
When this incident happened, we have an in-law apartment in the back that we turned into a gym. I was in the gym,
Okay.
in our gym, when this happened.
Okay. Tell me about today, when you guys first got up. Anything unusual or strange happen in the morning? First of all, what time did you guys get up?
I had to get up a little bit earlier than usual because I was taking a girl that I have to tell you, I'm in the program. I hate to break my anonymity, but it has a lot to do with my life.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the girls that I sponsor is in the PAR program. I had to pick her up to take her to a morning meeting that started at 9:45.
Okay.
And that meeting's probably 200 people saw us there.
Okay.
Larry had told me before his trip that he didn't want to do anything. He was going to go to the gym,
Uh-huh.
come home, do a little bit of work on his laptop, and then he was going to watch golf.
Mm-hmm.
Something about Tiger Woods playing in Dubai, and then, of course, try to take a nap.
Mm-hmm.
Because this poor guy went to bed early, and he wanted to stay awake for the Super Bowl.
Right. Okay.
And that's where he was left when this happened.
Okay.
Where was Larry when I walked in the door? He was in the living room,
Okay.
and he was already watching TV.
Remember what you was watching?
Yeah, I joked with him.
Okay.
I said, the only thing that woods are good for is hunting and hiking.
Mm-hmm.
It's a joke that we have about Tiger Woods.
Okay, so he was watching golf at that
He
point.
had his feet up on the coffee table. He does it every set.
Okay.
Said that he wanted to take a nap
Mhm.
so that he could try to stay up for the Super Bowl. I did come in at one point, just kind of check on him. I was like, how's it going? Joked with him.
Okay.
He plays golf in Dubai. Where is that place?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, but I bet you know all about Mary Kay. And we just joked.
Right.
And it was just a checking on him,
Mm-hmm.
Police found her actions suspicious. Why didn't she immediately call for help? Why risk her safety to search the house? Meanwhile, evidence suggested that Larry had been shot while trying to escape through the front door. Strangely, the ransacked rooms didn't match the typical pattern of a burglary. And the most puzzling detail? Larry's Jeep was missing but was later discovered parked just a short distance away. Inside were all the stolen items, including cash. Was this a robbery gone wrong, or was it a carefully staged scene?
I was sitting on the ball when I heard a noise,
Okay.
but it didn't sound like a pop. It sounded like somebody dropped something.
Okay.
And I also had music on real loud. So I continued to keep working out, and then all of a sudden I was like, I wasn't concerned. I just was.
You heard something that sounded like you said it dropped.
Something dropped.
Now,
Something fell off the roof.
Was it one noise? Was it several noises?
No, it was one.
Okay.
It was it sounded like something fell off the roof.
Okay.
And I kept on doing my sit-ups. And then I realized, I was like, let me go check on him. But it wasn't because of the noise. Periodically, we just check on each other.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then
from the gym, what route did you take?
Walked into the back door.
Okay.
My husband was laying in the foyer.
Okay.
There was blood everywhere. He was laying face down.
Okay.
Is the back door open or shut?
Do you mean open, not locked?
Open, standing open?
No, it was shut, but it was not locked.
Is the front door locked?
The front door was not locked unless he got it to lock it, which I doubt, because I walked out the front door to go out to my car and grab some Where and When and some pamphlets on some sponsorship for AA earlier. And Larry wouldn't get up and lock the front door. He'll do all that at night.
Do you guys normally leave your doors open, unlocked?
Not the front door, no.
Okay.
The front door is set up so that when you, I feel like I can't think. I feel like my mind's not inside of my head.
That's okay.
I haven't wrapped
Right. Well,
my mind around the fact that
it's a huge shock.
When questioned about firearms, Rebecca admitted that the couple had recently purchased a handgun, but had never used it. She claimed it was stored in their bedroom and expressed discomfort with the idea that, however, this explanation did little to ease suspicions. If Rebecca was uneasy about guns, why buy one? And why didn't she react more urgently to the unusual noise during her workout?
As far as firearms in the house, guns.
We did own a gun.
Okay.
We bought one very, very recently.
You just have one gun in the house?
Yes.
Okay. Is it a handgun? Is it a shotgun or rifle?
It's something that, it's a handgun.
A handgun.
I don't know a lot about it, but we bought it recently, and it's registered, so I can't tell you the exact date.
Is it registered to you or your husband?
Don't quote me. I think Larry told me that it was legal for both of us to use, but only if we used it in the house.
Okay.
Like I couldn't put it in my car or tote it around in my purse.
Right.
And again, don't quote me. I think Larry told me that it was legal for him and for I, but that it had to be used inside of our house.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kept in our bedroom.
Did you ever fire it?
No.
You ever handle it?
No. Larry and I talked about going to the firing range, and I was kind of leery about it. We just never did it, and then we never saw the whack job again. So it was like, well, it's there if we need it, and then we don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
And we never saw the guy again, never had a problem.
Just real quick off of that, when I stepped out, I got a call from some people at the scene, and I guess there's a cell phone there. Whose cell phone would that be? Open cell phone on the ground, do you know?
It wouldn't be mine. Mine's on me.
Yours is on you? Does your husband have a cell phone?
Yes, he does. And when you open it up, there's a picture of me.
Okay.
Police discovered another detail that deepened the mystery. Larry had been shot in the back while trying to flee. A typical burglar would have no reason to kill a homeowner who posed no threat. Could this mean the murder was premeditated rather than random? Rebecca also revealed that she checked Larry's pulse twice before calling 911. If the first pulse check didn't confirm he was dead, why didn't she call for an ambulance right away? What compelled her to inspect the rest of the house before seeking help?
So you picked up the gun before, but just by like
he brought it home and he showed it to me, and I was just kind of like, I was like, hon, we haven't seen this guy in a while. And he was like, I'm going to take you down the gun range. I'm going to show you how to shoot it so you're perfectly comfortable with it. We don't see the nut ball again, then fine. When I'm out of town, if you ever need it, he said, but I will tell you this, it's only legal to use in the house.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go toting it around.
Right.
He joked with me, he said, you can't get PMS and think that you want it. And I was like, I understand.
Right.
And he was like, this is where it's going to be kept.
Where did you guys keep it in the house?
We kept it in our armoire, in our bedroom. in the third drawer on the left side.
Okay. Was it in a gun case?
It was in like a canvas.
Did it come with the gun? In other words, or was it just a canvas case that you guys?
No, I think that it came with the gun.
All right. How many cars do you have?
We have 2 vehicles. It took me probably 15, 20 minutes after everybody arrived. I was talking to a police officer, and it dawned on me that my husband's vehicle was missing. And I turned to him, I go, where the hell is my husband's Jeep?
Where does he keep the keys for the Jeep?
There's a old antique desk in our dining room.
Is that on the first floor or the second floor?
On the first floor.
It's in an antique desk in the dining room.
Yeah, he keeps that. He keeps his wallet.
He keeps all that in there?
When he comes in.
Okay, so he wouldn't sit around the house with his keys in his pocket?
No.
Larry's Jeep, with the keys readily accessible, seemed like an easy getaway vehicle. Yet the thief left it just a block away with all the valuables still inside. This raised a critical question. Was this crime truly a robbery or a staged act? Rebecca described her reaction upon finding the house ransacked. But instead of fleeing immediately, she ran upstairs to check the extent of the damage. This behavior, combined with her oddly calm demeanor at certain moments, only deepened the detective's doubts.
No, I can tell you exactly. We both keep our keys.
How many people know where you keep your keys?
Me and my husband.
Nobody else?
No. Nobody's been in our house, even good friends. It's kind of been a choice of ours, but also we just...
Does he leave any keys in the car?
Never.
Is there a spare key in the car, a hide key or something?
I don't know if my husband has a hide key or a spare key to his Jeep. I know that there's 2 sets of keys to my car.
And where are your sets?
I have a set on me.
Okay.
And I have an extra set that's also in that antique desk. Larry had, I think I have 2 sets when we purchased the car. The 2005.
Did you have those keys on you today, or did you take them when you left?
I took them when I came in. I grabbed my keys. After I realized what had happened, I grabbed my keys they were on the kitchen counter. And I grabbed them off the kitchen counter. When I realized that my house had been ransacked, I ran upstairs. When I saw how bad it was, my first thought was, I better get out of here.
Where was your house ransacked at?
Where?
The whole house, or any particular?
The living room. I noticed that the living room was, my bedroom was, our bedroom was, but especially my husband's office. And I went to reach on the floor for the phone, because that's where all of our numbers are. And I was like, let me get out of here. So I went out.
What floor did you go to?
The second floor.
Okay, so you came in, you saw
my
him.
Husband. I felt for a pulse.
And then you went upstairs?
Yes, I did.
What'd you go upstairs for?
Because when I turned the corner and saw the living room had been ransacked, I went upstairs to see what the hell had happened.
Okay.
And I yelled. I said, I'm loaded. I have the police following me, so if you're in my house, you better come out now.
Okay, then when did you call 911?
I saw that the house had been ransacked. I ran back down. I checked my husband again for a pulse.
Did he have a pulse the first time?
I couldn't tell.
What about the second time?
I didn't feel one, but I didn't know if I was feeling in the right place.
Okay, now...
I got out of the house. I went to my car, which was in the driveway. I opened up the door, and I called you guys.
Okay.
And then I got out of my car, and I was hysterical, and I just started pacing the driveway. I was like, somebody's got to get here now. If he's still alive, maybe you can help him. Trying to remember what else I said.
What did they tell you on the phone?
Try to calm down. What is your name?
Mm-hmm.
Help is on the way. Was he shot or was he stabbed? I told him that I didn't know. I couldn't tell. I just kept, I don't know if I was screaming, I just kept saying.
When you checked him, you just checked his pulse?
Rebecca recounted that upon finding Larry lying motionless, she checked his pulse on his neck and wrist. But instead of performing CPR or calling 911 immediately, she left the house to make the call. Strangely, she claimed she wasn't sure if Larry was still alive, yet she made no attempt to save him. Rebecca emphasized that she was crying and screaming when no one else was around, as if to prove she was the grieving victim. But why would someone so panicked and terrified take the time to walk through both floors of the house before calling for help?
His eyes were open. I checked here.
Was he face up or face down?
He was face down.
Face
There was
down?
blood all around him.
Well, how was his head? Was his head down or to the
His
side?
head was to the side and his eyes were open, and that's what made me think that maybe he was alive, and if I could get an ambulance out there fast enough, maybe we could save his life.
Okay. So you checked his pulse? Did you?
I checked his neck. When I came back down the stairs, I checked his arm. And then I thought it was a good idea if I got out of the house to just call the police.
Okay. You didn't try CPR, didn't try to revive him?
No, I didn't. I didn't think it was a good idea to touch anything.
What did you think happened?
I wanted to know if my husband was still alive.
Okay. Let me just make sure I understand you right. You came in the back door, your husband's laying there.
Yes.
You went to him first.
Yes.
Okay.
Screamed.
Okay.
Throughout this interrogation, Rebecca constantly reminds the detectives that she was screaming and crying when nobody was around. She says this to make sure they all know that she is the victim.
Where's the nearest phone to your husband at that time?
The nearest phone to my husband would have been in the living room, but our living room phones, the buttons haven't been working recently.
Okay.
So my cell phone is sitting in my car. I would have had to have gone upstairs and either used his business line or used the landline that's upstairs. When I went upstairs, it wasn't to use the phone. It was to see what the hell had happened and if anybody else was still in my house. When I saw my husband's office and I saw my room had been ransacked, I ran back down the stairs. I checked Larry again.
Okay. Was anything ransacked on the first floor?
Yes, the living room. The living room was ransacked. The drawers had been pulled out. All of my self-help books had been pulled out.
Rebecca described the house as ransacked. The living room, Larry's office, and their bedroom all appeared to have been searched. But oddly, valuable items were left untouched. She explained that she avoided touching Larry's body to preserve the crime scene, yet she thoroughly checked the house before leaving. She kept repeating that her main goal was to get an ambulance as quickly as possible, but her actions contradicted her words. Was this truly the behavior of someone in shock, or was there something else going on?
This just happened. I'm having a hard time remembering, but I'll do the best I can. And I think it was a good idea to move him.
Okay.
I just remember telling the lady, hurry if we get an ambulance to him. Maybe he's not
Let me just
dead.
ask you, why didn't you think it was a good idea to move him?
I just think that, well, I couldn't fathom the fact of what had happened. I couldn't.
What did you think happened?
There's something very wrong. He couldn't be dead. And if I could get an ambulance there fast enough, maybe they could help. I didn't think it was a good idea to touch him. I can remember being leery just to get a pulse. I guess I just watched too much TV, and it's like, don't touch, don't disturb.
What kind of TV would tell you that?
Just, I don't know, CSI, I guess, don't touch anything, stay, the minute you find out something's wrong, get outside, call the police. I just wanted to get an ambulance there because I wasn't sure whether he had a pulse or not. I didn't know if I was checking even right. And if I got an ambulance there fast enough, maybe they could get it back.
And he had no enemies, correct?
No.
You don't have any enemies?
No.
Is there anything of value in the house?
Jewelry. We don't have any money in the house.
But nobody's been in the house to know that's there, correct?
No.
Okay. Any marital problems?
None at all.
He has a couple of ex-wives, is that
Yes, he
correct?
does, and we've never had any problems from either one of them. One of them lives right down the road. We're not friends with them, but they don't give us any problems, and I've never physically seen either one of them.
And the reason I ask is, from canvassing the neighborhood, some people say that your appearance has changed slightly in the past year. You're a lot thinner in the face, and
Well, I quit drinking 3 years ago, so maybe it's from the bloating. But I've always weighed 122 pounds, and I fluctuate between 120.
but you were bloated before. Is that
Bloated in the face from drinking alcohol, yeah.
okay? No drug use.
Marijuana.
How often do you use marijuana?
I used marijuana.
Okay.
My sobriety date is 2/17 of 2005. I am clean and sober.
You're an
off everything.
alcoholic,
Mhm.
and you use
And I
marijuana.
use marijuana. Drugs are not a part of my story besides that at all.
Okay.
My husband did not drink. That's not true. Once in a while, he'd be out on a trip or something, and he would have a beer. But my husband couldn't tolerate. He couldn't drink. He couldn't tolerate it.
The crime scene only deepened the mystery. Larry was found near the front door, but how could the intruder shoot him from behind? If Larry had been sitting on the couch, he should have seen or heard the intruder. So why was he shot while seemingly trying to flee? The intruder supposedly stayed long enough to ransack the house, but this was broad daylight, with 2 cars parked in the driveway. A clear sign that someone might be home. Could this really be a burglary, or was it a carefully staged setup?
Did you get any phone calls during that time period you were home, or make any phone calls?
Did I make any phone calls? No. I did get a phone call from a girl that I sponsor, and I told, as a matter of fact, I was in the gym when I got the call.
Is there a phone in the gym, or she called your cell
She
phone?
called my cell phone.
Okay.
And I said to Gail, I said, is this important? Do you think you're going to drink? Are you having any problems? What are your thoughts and feelings? She goes, no, I'm just checking in with you.
Okay.
And I said, listen, I'm working out right now. And
That's
she
the
goes,
same girl you were with earlier?
no, this is a different
Okay.
one.
So it was just a quick conversation while you were in the gym.
Yeah, it was like, you're going to drink? If you're not going to drink and, you're not flipping off the walls and flipping in or whatever and everything's okay, I do care, but let me finish my workout and I'll give you a call.
Right. Okay. Were there any other phone calls today that came or went from
After I came home.
Mm-hmm.
Not on my cell phone.
So if somebody came in, he would have been downstairs?
He was downstairs, and if somebody would have walked in, they wouldn't have immediately saw him.
Uh-huh.
They would have had to gone in a little bit and seen him at the end of the couch. They
So
wouldn't have walked in the front door.
Could
and
somebody
seen
have
him.
walked in and walked upstairs without seeing him?
Could somebody have walked in and walked upstairs and not
Mhm.
seen him? Absolutely.
You think so?
Yeah, because our staircase is right there. They could have walked right into the front door, but he would have heard them.
You would have heard
Oh,
them gone
absolutely.
upstairs. So the person that ransacked the place probably killed him first, you think?
When asked about valuables, Rebecca stressed that nothing was taken. Priceless antiques and artwork were left untouched, which only fueled detectives' suspicions about the intruder's true motives. Why would someone spend so much time rifling through the house, yet ignore the most valuable items? When detectives questioned why the intruder stayed so long, Rebecca had no plausible explanation. She appeared flustered, as if unsure how to respond.
You put my husband's bed. I'm sorry. There's no way that you could have torn that house to smithereens without Larry knowing it in the way that he was laying. He must have heard somebody come in the door because it looks where he was laying like Not maybe there's a confrontation, but he came into the foyer. There's no reason for him to come in the foyer unless he was crossing over the kitchen to get something to eat.
I'm just trying to understand this. What type of person would shoot somebody, make that noise, and then take time to ransack a house?
I don't know. I can't answer that. I have no idea what happened. And I didn't hear.
And you didn't hear the car leave?
No.
Where was his car at in reference to where you were?
My car's parked here, and he's parked here.
In the dirt?
Yeah,
He
he
would've
parked.
been in the
Yeah,
dirt.
he gets to park in the dirt. I get the driveway. Sometimes he'll bring it around.
They
and park
really
it.
tore the house up?
What'd you
They
say?
really tore your house up?
I didn't
I mean,
look that
they
well.
knocked things over, knocked over big items, tipped things over.
Yeah, it looked like the living room, the stereo system had been knocked over. I can remember that. Drawers pulled out.
But nothing was taken. The stereo was still there. The TV was still there.
From my antique store. We've got 3 pieces. It could be somebody's retirement, for God's sakes.
And that was still there?
There were paintings in there that are worth $17,000 to $25,000. This person didn't know they were antiques. They didn't know they're paintings. Timbers are right above our
What were they
fire.
looking for then?
You're asking me questions I can't answer. I don't know. We don't have money in our house. My
Do you have a safe in
expensive...
the house?
No. No, we don't. And my expensive jewelry is kept in a sewing box that is, it's an old-fashioned antique sewing box, and unless you know that the middle opens, sort of like a Chinese puzzle box.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been in that house?
Let me think for a second.
Rebecca maintained that neither she nor Larry had enemies and that their marriage was perfectly fine. But her actions and statements seemed to tell a different story. When detectives requested a gunpowder residue test on her hands, Rebecca agreed without hesitation. Was this the behavior of an innocent woman, or the confidence of someone who believed they had covered their tracks? The case only grew more perplexing, and all eyes were now on Rebecca.
I think 4 years, but I can't think straight, and...
Did he or you ever sell drugs out of that house?
No,
No?
absolutely not.
So somebody wouldn't be looking for illegal drugs?
No,
Okay.
I am clean and sober.
Just
Like
trying to
that.
figure out why somebody would spend that much time in your house.
I don't know. I'm not sure what happened.
Do you have any questions of me?
I'm just trying to get my mind wrapped around the fact that he's gone, and I just want to know. I was gonna say, tell me who did this, but at this point, I'm just feeling like it really doesn't matter who did it because he's gone. So I want to know when I'm going to be allowed to go back into my home and see if anything's missing. Do you have any answers? Anything? Has anything come through?
Not
The
yet.
neighbors?
Takes a long time to get in the house and process. It could take all night.
That's what the woman said.
They're very meticulous.
Good. It's good.
And if the suspect was all over the house, they're gonna have to
Left
process.
something behind,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it was one person? Are we looking at more than one person?
I don't know because I haven't been into the scene. I don't know. I haven't been into your home. All right. The only other thing that we're going to do is just do forensics, do some processing. They're just going to take photographs of you. Okay, they're just going to test your hands and collect some clothing. Okay, we have clothes here. We'll give you t-shirt and shorts. Okay, and then that's it. Okay.
We're gonna put you in your room, but we're gonna ask that you don't wash your hands. Okay?
Right, I understand.
Because you understand we have to rule you out because you were there, right?
The woman explained to me, because I
Okay.
signed
Okay.
something, and it said something about accused, And then it was, she had to come in the bathroom with me so I didn't wash my hands. So all of a sudden I said, am I a suspect? And she very calmly explained that this is a procedure and this is how it goes and this is why it goes like this. And
see, we want to do this because we don't want somebody to say 3 months from now after we did nothing with you that you did it. You see what we're saying?
I don't understand what you're saying, no.
That's the purpose of us doing this, to eliminate you since you're at the house.
Okay.
So if somewhere down the line somebody says 3 months, somebody down the line accuses you for whatever reason, we can say, well, we did this, this, and this, and...
Great.
Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
You haven't shot a gun recently, have you?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
All right.
Rebecca was asked not to wash her hands so the police could test for gunpowder residue, standard procedure to eliminate her as a suspect. While she cooperated, the test came back negative. But Rebecca's actions still puzzled the investigators. How could she leave the house, abandoning her husband, without knowing if he was alive or dead? If there was any hope that Larry might survive, would any devoted spouse have left his side? Rebecca explained she was terrified and thought the best thing to do was to go outside and call for help. But was that truly a natural reaction?
Just try to get your line of thinking here. We were thinking about this, and both of us are married, and we thought, well, if this happened to us, we don't think we would have left our spouse's side during that time. I mean, especially if we thought there was some hope that they were alive.
I got scared. I thought the best thing for me to do was to get out of the house.
What were you scared of at that time?
What had happened, call the police, get people there as soon as possible.
But what I don't understand, though, is why you take the time to go upstairs. The danger upstairs, the unknown upstairs. Why would you put yourself in that situation?
I wondered if somebody was still in my house.
What were you going to do if you ran across somebody?
I don't know. I don't know. Probably get killed.
Still, what about, wouldn't your main concern be, what if he's still alive, maybe I can help him?
Of course I wanted to help him.
But you left.
I walked outside and called the police. I left the scene. I walked outside and called the police.
And left your husband.
And asked them to get an ambulance there as quick as possible. Because I wasn't for sure that he was dead. I didn't know if he'd been shot or if he'd been stabbed. And could they get an ambulance there as quick as possible?
But you didn't attempt any CPR, didn't stay with him. I mean, why did you leave?
I thought it was a smart thing to do. Get out of the house, not get out of the house and call the police. That's what I was thinking. And horrified by what I had seen and what had happened. I wasn't sure what had happened, and it had to have happened, and I was so close by.
The case became even more perplexing when Rebecca accidentally revealed a key detail. She claimed to have seen 2 wounds on Larry's back. But how could she know this? Paramedics didn't determine the number and location of the wounds until they removed Larry's shirt. If Rebecca never touched the body, how could she have known? Was this a careless slip of the truth or an incriminating mistake?
How would you know that there were 2 wounds, though, when all that's starting to coagulate and run together? They had to actually physically remove clothes to see how many wounds there were.
He was laying on the floor with his face like this. His eyes were open.
Right.
I saw a wound here, and I saw a wound what looked like in the middle of his back.
And what did these wounds look like?
He had either been shot or he had been stabbed.
Why do you say that? What did the wounds look like?
They didn't look like wounds. They looked like blood. I didn't see wounds. I saw blood on his clothes.
What color was his sweater?
It was a white, grayish sweatshirt he was wearing.
Dark or light?
It was light.
And then, all right, so then you check the house and there's nobody there, obviously, right?
Right.
So why'd you leave your husband there?
To call the police. Should I have stayed with him and
There was
put him
no,
in my lap?
There was no phone in the house, or
There was a phone in the house.
We're just trying to understand why you did what you did.
Okay.
Did he say anything? Could you see his chest rising and falling? Could you tell if he was breathing?
No, but I thought that he might be alive because his eyes were open. And I just bent down. I was like, Larry? Larry?
Did he make any sounds
No.
at any point?
No.
Rebecca explained that she didn't want to touch Larry's body, fearing it might disturb the crime scene or incriminate herself. But her explanation raised more questions. How could a grieving wife prioritize preserving evidence over saving her husband's life? She admitted she didn't know if Larry was breathing, but thought his open eyes might mean he was alive. So why didn't she stay by his side or attempt CPR? Instead, she chose to leave him there and call for help from outside.
And I got up and I went outside and I called the police. If I had known that I was supposed to be with him, or hold him, or do CPR, then I would have. I think that I'm trying to think of what I was thinking.
Did the 911 operator ask you if he's breathing? What did the 911 operator? What did you tell them?
I said, I believe my house has just been burglarized, and it looks like my husband could possibly be deceased, but I can't tell. She said, where are you calling from? I gave her my last name and my address. I was hysterical, so you'll have to listen to the tape to know what I said exactly. I didn't think it was wise for me to touch him, to get blood on me, to turn him over, to do anything like that. I thought that would just either make things worse for the scene. I didn't know if anybody was still in my house the first time when I found him. I guess if you guys would have shown up and I would have had blood all over me, I guess it might have incriminated me. I did think that he might still be alive because his eyes were open.
When pressed further, Rebecca began to ask questions of her own about the case. She questioned why the supposed burglar would know the keys on the counter belonged to Larry's Jeep, and why they didn't take the Hyundai, which was closer. Her line of questioning raised even more suspicion. Was she genuinely confused, or was she trying to deflect attention and mislead investigators?
Before she leaves, Rebecca wants to know why the crime scene doesn't make any sense.
Okay. I'm just a little concerned about the last questions that have been asked because they don't make sense to me.
What do you mean the last questions have been asked?
When you're, how could somebody have known that those keys went to that Jeep?
You asked that. I didn't ask.
I know. Now I've got some questions. Like there's a few things here that don't make sense. Why would they take keys? How could they have known that it belonged to a Jeep? You're telling me a neighbor tells me the Jeep wasn't there.
And didn't you say you took your keys off the counter?
I took the keys off the breakfast counter.
Why wouldn't
they have taken them? They're out in the open. And take the Hyundai. The Hyundai is nothing. Hyundai's clearer, a better car. It's closer. It's right there. So I guess I'm just a little concerned that there's some questions here that aren't making sense to me.
They're not making sense to us either.
Okay.
You're hoping maybe you could shed some light on it.
I don't know how I could.
Investigators continued their search and found a critical piece of evidence in Rebecca's car, a man's watch and the murder weapon hidden under the driver's seat. The gun was registered to Larry and was confirmed as the weapon used in his murder. However, no fingerprints were found on the gun, a detail that kept the police from immediately arresting Rebecca. Unbeknownst to her, this discovery would ultimately unravel her carefully constructed story. As the case stalled, Rebecca attempted to collect Larry's sizable life insurance policy but was denied due to unresolved suspicions. Shortly after receiving a foreclosure notice, Rebecca's house mysteriously caught fire. Oddly enough, this fire led to a large insurance payout for her. But the story didn't end there. A petty thief named Alfred Noland was arrested and provided police with shocking information. Alfred claimed Rebecca had threatened him with a knife and confessed to killing Larry during an argument over money. His testimony provided the final piece of the puzzle. Rebecca was called in for questioning again. This time, when confronted with the new evidence and Alfred's testimony, she immediately requested a lawyer. But it was too late. The police had already secured a warrant for her arrest. Rebecca was officially charged with murder. According to the prosecution, Rebecca had carefully planned and executed the murder. After her workout, she returned home to find Larry watching TV on the couch. She went upstairs, retrieved the gun, and confronted Larry. When he saw the weapon, he attempted to flee, but Rebecca shot him in the back as he ran for the front door. She then staged the scene as a burglary, placed items in Larry's Jeep, and abandoned the vehicle a few blocks away. The gun was hidden under her car seat, likely for later disposal. However, the evidence and Alfred's testimony were enough to convince the jury of her guilt. Rebecca was sentenced to life in prison, without the possibility of parole for first-degree murder. In the end, Rebecca Fenton had to face serious charges, including first-degree murder. With irrefutable evidence, she was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. This serves as a stark reminder of the cold-bloodedness and calculations of murderers and the severe consequences they must face. Reflect on Rebecca's choices and the loss she caused. We would love to hear your thoughts and comments. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated on exciting videos ahead and enjoy special offers from us.